Hello, I am Rock, and I will be your teacher today. I will teach you about, you guessed it, rocks. Trust me, this will be interesting, and if it's not, too bad, you're going to be forcefully educated. Alright, now here's a little interactive bit. Think of all the times you see or use rocks. It's quite often. They are everywhere. Haha, I accidentally used the first person plural instead of the third person for a second. That sounded ominous. Now think of all the types of rocks you can name. Did you know all of them can be grouped into three types? Igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. I'll explain these a little later, but now I want to clear up any confusion about lava and magma. You probably have heard of lava before. If you haven't, you've probably been living under a rock. Haha. Well, if you don't know what it is the result of rocks being melted into a liquid form. Anyways, what you might not know is that lava refers to molten rock that is above the ground. Molten rock that is under the ground is called magma. In short, the words magma and lava are not interchangeable. Knowing the difference between these two words is important. It is also a good way to lose friends and get called a nerd. Anyways, rocks that are the result of molten rock cooling are called igneous rocks. Igneous rocks can be further broken down into two groups, intrusive and extrusive. When lava cools or crystallizes, it cools very fast due to being on the surface. This gives crystals less time to form, causing the rock to be smooth. These rocks are called extrusive igneous rocks. Rocks like basalt and obsidian are examples of this type of rock. In contrast, rocks that cool very slowly from magma are called intrusive igneous rocks. Because they cool slowly, they have more time for crystals to form, meaning these rocks tend to be more rough. Granite and diorite are examples of intrusive igneous rocks. You know, those rocks that always fill up your inventory in Minecraft? The next type of rock is sedimentary. These are generally rocks that form from smaller pieces or sediment over time. Like igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks can also be put into three smaller groups: clastic, chemical, and biochemical. Firstly, chemical sedimentary rocks form from dissolved minerals that were left behind when the water was evaporated. Limestone and rock salt are chemical sedimentary rocks. Next, clastic sedimentary rocks are the result of clasts, or existing small pieces of rock, being stuck together into one large rock. Small bits of existing rock are carried away by water, wind, or other factors in a process called weathering or erosion. These small pieces of rock, also known as sediment, can build up in a certain area. This is known as deposition. Over time, the sediment compacts together tightly. Think about when you have to shove all your clothing into your suitcase very tightly because you underestimated how much room it would take. You are compacting the clothing. After that, the pieces of rock are cemented together into one rock. Sandstone and breccia are examples of clastic sedimentary rocks. Lastly, there are biochemical or organic sedimentary rocks. These are kind of like clastic rocks, but they are made of organic materials. Coal, which is formed from dead plants, and fossil-rich limestone are organic sedimentary rocks. The last type of rock is metamorphic. These rocks are the result of an existing rock, which can be of any type, being exposed to extreme conditions that cause it to change permanently. It's like a Pokemon evolution. The Pokemon is still the same, but it's changed to a different form. Or if you're not friendless enough to understand that analogy, think of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. They are generally formed deep within the Earth's crust. There are two more specific types of metamorphic rocks, foliated and non-foliated. Foliated rocks have parallel stripes of minerals that are the result of pressure. Non-foliated metamorphic rocks do not have these layers, and instead have mineral grains that randomly interlock. You are probably asleep by now. Imagine needing to sleep. Here's another interactive bit. Think of all the things that rocks represent metaphorically. Think of the saying set in stone, or the generally Christian saying, "The Lord is my rock." That's right. Rocks are usually used to represent something that's unchangeable, reliable, or strong. This is actually very wrong. Even though you don't see it, rocks change and break down all the time. So comparing God to a rock probably isn't the best metaphor, unless you're an atheist. Anyways, now that you know all three types of rocks and their subcategories, we can look at the bigger picture, the rock cycle. The rock cycle is the way that different types of rocks or processes are related to each other. I'll use an example to make this more clear. Let's say that a volcano erupted and the lava cooled, forming an extrusive igneous rock. We'll call him Rocky. Now don't get too attached, because Rocky is going to get broken down into thousands of tiny bits and die. This is called erosion. Next, let's say that the tiny bits of Rocky's corpse build up into one area. This is deposition. Over time, Rocky's remnants compact together and eventually get cemented into a classic sedimentary rock. That is how an igneous rock can turn into a sedimentary rock. Let's call this newborn sedimentary rock Rocco. Now Rocco is going to be chilling underground until suddenly he is put under extreme pressure that mutilates him beyond recognition. Now he is a metamorphic rock, and after a while, he is exposed to heat that melts him back down to magma again. That is only one way the rock cycle can work. It is more of an interlocking web than a cycle. Any type of rock can transform into any other type of rock given the right conditions and enough time. And it is important to note that this takes place very, very slowly. You will likely never witness a rock change its type or form in your short mortal lives. That concludes our lesson today. Any questions? What was that you asked? Why do I have most of my face obscured? Wow, that is a tough question. I'll let you in on a secret, okay? I am a rock.